All right, guys, good evening, all. This is Carlos, CEO of GAR Capital. Thanks for taking the time to join me this week and every week while we recap the activity, or actually the week that we did, in terms of options, futures, and Forex, and what I see in the market, and all that good stuff that you like to see every week. So, again, glad to have you on board here on the YouTube channel. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe to our videos so you don't miss anything. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and begin on the Discord channel. If you haven't already, make sure to join us. www.gar.capital. It's our website. Let me go ahead and show you guys. gar.capital. I'm going to press enter. And again, this is free for all for those who would like to be part of our market blog, live market blog. I do it every day. Let's go to not sure where to start. Click on get free plan and you will get access to our free Discord channel on our server. It is the live market blog. So again, a lot of stuff there. Would love to have you on board. All right, let's go ahead and go over what we did this week in terms of options. So we're going to go over options first, and then we'll go over the rest. So here we go. Recap, solid week this week, really just a carryover that hit us. So let's go over the numbers here. Two of the trades that were red, Nike and Palantir. Nike hit 30% last week. It was for this week expiry, but we filled on the 14th and the 15th respectively. We had 30% on Nike, then we fell. I actually hit Nike twice before that, and I was staring at it all day, and I was basically tweeting it. I was letting everyone know, but then the last one, the 115 calls, even without that volume, we just fell and we didn't catch it. Palantir was in the money at the 9:30 hour twice actually, and then that fell, didn't get it on Palantir, unfortunately. That was one of the very few times that we don't catch Palantir. But the rest of the week, very solid. Tesla, 280 calls. We caught that, got as high as 63%. Marathon calls. This is Mara, the cryptocurrency. Got as high as 393% on the runner. Got 42% on it. AMD went ahead and did 114 puts. I also did the 110 puts on my own. I hit those as well. This one hit as high as 236%. Amazon, 130 calls. I hit this with the team yesterday. 42%. I closed at 75% this morning. I held it overnight to see if we get a little more continuation. I got out first thing because of the expiry being today. And then I got into Amazon again. We got into metaverse calls. So we'll go over that here in a second. That was options this week. So about 4 to 6, 67% really doesn't do it justice. Could have easily gotten these two today. They were both green, Amazon and metaverse. Which would have been 6 out of 8 for a 75% gain. We're just going to move this over to next week since the expiry is next week. We have a full week next week. Granted, we had the Juneteenth holiday on Monday. We had a drop on Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's all she wrote for these two names. Played Tesla same day. We played Marathon same day on the 20th. Marathon continued going. Tesla reversed. AMD, we're playing puts. We caught that, and then Amazon, we played that yesterday on the relative strength that we saw. So let's go ahead and go over the trades. We'll go over Tesla here in a second. So Tesla, we wanted to get to above 265. You can see that that was the alert. We broke above this. This is at 12 Eastern Standard Time. Tuesday, I believe, was the 22nd, 21st, the 20th. So let me get this out of the way. Here's the weekly signals. We got on the 20th and the 20th. So again, Tesla and Mara. 280s and 11.5. So now we know our dates. Here's Tuesday. We got in right here above 265.09. That was the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement. Pretty much step by step how we did it. Only risk here, the downside, was this gap to fill near the 200 day. But again, we played above the fib. Wanted to target 283. We got as high as 276.89, but we got it same day. Well done, Tesla. Came back down. Again, I'm going to see if we can alert above 265.45 again. If we do, then I'll play the 280s again. And if we don't, and we reject down to below 248, we got that gap fill at 235.06. So Tesla will definitely be on our watch list this week. Let's go to, what was the other one? Amazon. Amazon, we're going to go on the hourly. This was yesterday. You could see Thursday, nice pop, 10 a.m. is where we got it. That yellow line was exactly the level I was looking for a beautiful breakout, wedge breakout. got above, got as high as 130.120. We caught that, well done. Pulled back, and then now consolidating, but we're still above 128.65. I still have the 130 calls for next week. We're close to the money. So again, as long as we stay above 128.59, we should be pretty good. Worst case scenario, we could test 127.70, give ourselves a little room. So we'll kind of use 127.63 as a way to see of a possible pivot point, but I don't think it breaks below 128.61 either. But again, we know about Nike and Palantir last week, so anything could happen. But again, we had a short week last week, so I think that's having that feta burn really hurt. Let's go over Mara. Mara was pretty simple too. Again, just have your levels like we talked about, and we did. We had our level here at 1063. We've traded this level a couple times, filled this gap, got done, and continued higher. Got to around 13. We had 11.5 calls, very close to the money. Very similar to the Amazon setup, am I right, guys? Let's take a look at the hourly. Again, you could see it. Got that breakout just like we did. We played that. And then what? We pulled back a little bit twice. And we got that nice sword job. So again, I think that if you look at Amazon and Mara, kind of that base breakout, very, very similar price action, I think we're going to be fine next week. Let's go ahead and go to Nike. Tough one. I played this one a couple of times, like I said. We have a gap to fill, 113.52. We never broke support, or at least settled below it on the hourly. So again, we may have a little more upside if we wanted to play it again. Let's see if we can get above 111.79. You have a gap fill here at 113.59. Maybe leave a runner or so to fill some gaps. Let's see the gaps. So we filled this one. Now we have one big one at 116.84. So again, you have two options. You can do the 111.79 break, or you can wait for that 200-day MA to break. That's 112.41. If you break here and get around here, you're probably like around 20-25% depending on volume. You can always get out of there, leave a runner, see if you get that gap fill, close it out. Or you can wait for the gap fill itself above 113.52 and put the next gap fill at 116.84. Again, this is all dependent on volume. I don't think this will be the last time you hear from Nike. Next we have, next we have AMD, 114 puts on the 21st. Let's take a look at it. All right, we're gonna go to the hourly and take a look. Again, we opened this one Wednesday. Broke below 116, played the 114 puts, and you could see a beautiful setup of support right here, bounced, right here bounced, around this area bounced. Again, 116, we broke. Looked for the looked for the volume. We caught it, 114s. Bounced a little bit. I said we were going to get down to 110 to that gap fill. We got it. And you could see pulling back here. I also kept an eye on AMD. As long as we hold above 109.63, I think we get a bounce here to 116 again. And then from there, we'll just kind of consolidate. But if we break down a little more in AMD, I have no problem continuing to short this thing. But again, the question is, where do we go? And if we do, we probably get to 102.38 or so. Maybe around the 104.77 area. The daily candle is actually pretty strong on AMD in terms of the daily here. You can see it. Still the green candle still above this support. But again, 104.71, that's your 200-day, that's your 50-day MA. If we break below 109, maybe we could target that. But again, if you want to be for sure, let's say you want to be confirmed move to target that 50 DMA, we want 107.52 to target 104.71. And again, if not, we're playing bounce to around the 116 level. So another level of inflection for a lot of these tech names, as we could see. So AMD is definitely on my radar as well. Amazon we talked about. Let's talk about Meta. Meta we filled today. Placed that. We placed that chart up as well. Pretty beautiful price action using the 20-day MA perfectly as support. Got a big gap fill here at 316.33. Take a look at the hourly. Breakout again as well, very similar to Amazon and Mara. So we're going to put our levels there. We're going to put our little lines, and you can see the nice base breakout. Pretty much a beautiful setup here. I don't even have to draw these lines, to be completely honest. I'm just showing you guys. But again, you could see pretty consistent price action. Finally getting a breakout here. If we get a little momentum, the only problem is that we have seasonality. But you can see how the outperformance is Meta against the NASDAQ, right? Pretty much outperforming the NASDAQ about 235 basis points. So again, we want to ride that momentum. We can get as high as 314.42. We'll hold some runners, see if we can catch the bags. Maybe we get to 300, we could play the 315s, but we'll see what we get. But again, I think Meta hits. I think Amazon hits Monday, if anything. And you could see a nice, beautiful base breakout. So again, very exciting stuff on Meta. Let's see the volume just to kind of keep an eye. Meta for next week, the 290s, 20,000 in vol. Next week, in terms of puts, not much. 300s have 8,000 in vol. That's higher than any put volume on the board. So again, 290 should be okay. A little more expensive, but the 300s is what I got, and we should be able to catch that too. So that's where we are for the week. In terms of the month, I put out some stats here. Not the best right now, 10 out of 15, but again, if we get these two, we'll be 12 out of 17. 5 losses, pretty consistent with what we got last week. Last month we only had 4. The month before that we got 3. So even if this is the last ones for the week in terms of losses, 2, 3, and 2, 4, and 5, I believe. 2, 4, and 5. 3 losses in April, 4 losers in May, and then June you have 5. So again, a little bit of choppier than usual. But again, we'll see if we get these two. But in terms of the quarter, again, we're almost at the end of the quarter. You could see 39 out of 51, 77%. And again, I did it based on $500 risk. Again, this is minimum. There's no runners. Keep in mind, no runners. I added to this number. And again, this is really hard to do. Why? Because everyone's different. Some people miss trade. Some people don't get out. Some people hold. Some people do their own thing. So like a brokerage statement is not going to go ahead and give us all the information. The only way I can really do this as shows as an audit purpose, so you guys can understand, is that when we send out a trade, for example, let's see, the Tesla one's at 280 calls, $2.98. We do our alerts, we do the updates, and then you could see here, once I send it out, 40%. I got to 39.5, but I really got to here. But I put in the chart on the thing 40%, but it really got 55%. 26 calls. So even the actual Excel sheet, and keep in mind, again, all the screenshots here are shown on the channel if you guys want to back test it yourself. But keep in mind that, again, the only way we can actually track this is really this way. If we do a brokerage statement, again, my numbers will be skewed because sometimes I hold, like Amazon, and then sometimes I'll close with the signal. So again, it just really depends on feel. But again, you have to go by you. How's it working out for you? And everyone's different. So again, if you traded every single trade, got out exactly when we got out, held runners, again, runners are not counting, but again, if you held runners, great. At minimum, with a $500 risk per trade, you're up $2,386 with our signals for the quarter. Again, that is the minimum you've made. Again, we have runners. So again, very difficult to do a brokerage chart because guess what? The numbers will be skewed based on runners, and that's not going to help anybody. So again, 23.86% we are currently for the quarter. Again, we still have one more week. I want to go ahead and bring that up. If we go ahead and bring up Q1, 31%. Again, on the quarter, that was a 77.4% win-loss total. And you can tell, you could see here in quarter 2, we're at 77%. So very consistent. That's the thing I'm seeing the most is consistency. And that's exactly what I want to see as a trader. Can we be consistent? 80% is my target. We're right around 75, 77%. But I also want to show you a couple of stats as well regarding the service, which is very, very interesting. Let's take a look at it. And I wrote this. Here's some of the June numbers. I want you guys to see this. So let's go ahead and go to June. We're going to go to June. Again, the numbers don't really do it justice. We're 10 out of 15 this month, right? I know. Win-loss is not the best. 4 of the losing trades, 4 of them, Facebook, Boeing, Nike, and Palantir, Metaverse, whatever, they hit, keep in mind, hit 30% profit or were in the money and reversed. So if we would have just closed these 4 in the money or 30% like we were, we only have 1 loss this month, which is Disney. 1. So it's little things that we got to clean up that really isn't about fault. It's really about timing. And again, it's easy to backtest and say, well, you should have closed there. But again, this is why you have your system set over time. But consistency over time will do better than any kind of mistakes you do. How about this? 5 of those trades this month hit triple digits on runners. That would be Palantir back in for the June 9th expiry, the Tesla 220 calls, which hit as high as 1,200%, the Caterpillar calls that went in the money. We closed it ahead of CPI. Remember, we closed that ahead of CPI just to keep risk in check. That hit 155%. NASDAQ QQQ, the 370s on the 16th of June, they hit as high as 223%. You have Amara this week hit as high as 393%. AMD hit as high as 236 on the puts. So imagine that. And then one of the Tesla calls actually at 1,263%. So some really good stats. If you had runners, you are green for the month. Very, very well green. But as of right now, those two, the Nike and Palantir kind of hit and skews the numbers a little bit. We'll get Amazon and Metaverse or Facebook, whatever. I put Facebook, Metaverse, same thing. We'll get those, and then we should be nice and boosted for the month. And then we'll see what we can do for the rest of the month. Push up the Q2 numbers. I haven't put everything in, but again, very, very solid so far. I'm very proud so far, but I have not done the year-to-date numbers because I have to combine everything. I'll knock that out once we actually finish the quarter up. But options signals for 2023 have been absolutely exceptional. And bull market be damned, because we've been doing this really since last year. Well, really, I started the company in 2014. But really since the October low, we've been doing excellent, excellent work. Again, the idea, guys, is just we just don't want chop. And if we don't have chop, we're going to be fine. Okay, let's go ahead and go over our futures trades for the week. And we're going to go to futures. And here's the solid week, guys. ES long, we were up 12. We closed it highest 23 points. It was highest 23 points. We closed it at plus 12. Again, gold short, beautiful. 145 ticks. It goes by 10. Every 10 cents is a tick. Again, we get as high as 157 ticks. NQ short got stopped out really on Thursday on an incredible turnaround and an incredible bounce off that 15,000 level. Take a look at this. Here's your 15,000 level. Right here we were short. If you guys remember, 15,000, we were up, what, 40 points? And then just one green candle and then continue up. We got stopped out for 80. Thankfully, we had our stop. The only mistake there, guys, is that I didn't move the stop sooner. And I could have done that and mitigated some loss. But again, we were already going where we needed to go. We broke support. But again, 15,000 held. And so far, it has held so far. It's held so far, excuse me. So that was really the only kind of fumble that we had. The good news is that we went ahead and made that back rather quickly. Literally the same day, we got plus 50, got as high as plus 80 on a NASDAQ long. So again, a green week, a very green week on futures. Even though we fumbled on NASDAQ short, we came right back and played it great. And that was really it for the week. So again, if you want to call it 3 out of 4, 75%. In terms of futures, really green is all that matters as well. So again, everyone's different. I can only give you guys the screenshots too, because everyone is different. Who knows what time everyone closes out. Again, everyone moves stops really up to their discretion. Going up to Forex. Forex, we had a euro dollar long. That reversed on us, unfortunately, minus 40 points. Let's go to Forex alerts, and we could see it. Again, we got as high as 23 pips on EU, then reversed on us. Reversal like the NASDAQ this morning. Then we played dollar yen. We're still long it. We're up about 13 points over the weekend. We got as high as 25 pips today. Euro dollar got as high as 28. So again, if you close it for 28, maybe you moved your stops. You did okay. Same thing with NASDAQ. Maybe you moved those stops to break even. I don't know. Everyone's different. But Forex was pretty much mixed because we still have the dollar yen. And if the dollar yen continues to go higher, which was what I see, take a look at this. Again, pretty similar to the Amazon chart, kind of a base breakout, right? Take a look at the daily. And again, really all we are targeting is 144.91. That's really what we're looking for. I went ahead and let everyone know that I want to keep the stops a little wider than on this one, because I really want to target that TP this go around, and I don't want to get stopped out too soon. So I haven't moved any stops. We are green. And I think the euro dollar, where I made a mistake there, was not having the stop a little wider, maybe around 108 and a quarter. And the entry on euro dollar was 109.80. So imagine 109.80 right here. So having that 40-point stop loss really did help because we pulled back 109.80, what, 90 points. So what we want is to get it back above 109.40, 109.80, and then see if we can play long again. But bounce off the 50-day. Again, just a reversal with the NASDAQ. And pretty much still holding that pattern to the upside. Unless we break below 107, I'm still looking to go long. I also talked to the Forex team about putting strength versus weakness together. So again, we were talking about what was the strongest currencies at the time. Was it dollar? Was it yen? You just put strength versus weakness. I talked about the dollar, Canadian dollar. We'd have resistance here at 132.82. You can see that here. That's above the 200-day. If that breaks above, then we'll go long. But again, if we're expecting the Canadian dollar to get stronger, you can see this slide here. And it's really because of crude oil. And crude oil here, 69.50, did fall but did bounce as well. So again, we're going to keep an eye on the Canadian dollar as well for additional, or the dollar Canadian dollar for additional weakness. Maybe we get down to that 130.86 level. If not, we play a bounce, 132.82, 132.38, and we can do 133. But again, kind of messy of a chart, not the best looking one. I'm going to go ahead and remove these fibs, and let's see if we can redraw them together. So we'll go on a daily basis. We'll go to the low here of 1225.18. Then we're going to go to the highs of 139.772. There you go. And we're kind of holding on to that 50% retrace. So we want to see if we can break below that. And if we do, then it is a short. And if we bounce, then we're going to see if we go long, ride that dollar momentum, maybe back to that 20-day moving average to 133.44. If not, the 38.2 fib. That'll be kind of our GPS or so to go to see the actual trend of where we're going. So that is where we are in terms of signals this week. Very, very solid. Definitely was exhausting, I must say. Short week, everything seems to be very compressed with Powell and all this stuff. So, it's one of those things that you just kind of have to keep yourself kind of focused, and things can change rather quickly. So you have to be on top of things. And with that being said, let's go ahead and go over to Forex Factory. We'll see what we have for the next week coming up. And let's see here. Tuesday the 27th, we have core durable goods orders. We have consumer confidence, new home sales on the 27th as well. Then we have Fed Chair Powell speaking. I don't think he's going to have a discussion regarding monetary policy, but he's to participate in a panel discussion, quote, policy panel at the ECB Forum on Central Banking in Sintra. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So that's where we are. And then we also have the GDP number. I put a note on the blog as well. The expectation is 1.4%. Final GDP price index. We have unemployment claims, pending home sales. That's on Thursday. The expectation is 0.3% in the negative. Core PCE, this is the Fed's kind of key inflationary gauge that they look at. PCE includes rent. So that's looking at a 0.4% on a month-over-month basis. Core meaning excluding food and gas. Auto and food and gas. Yeah, that's the one excluding food, auto, and gas. Excuse me. So that's where we are for the week. And again, pretty quiet. The week after, that's where we start getting the FOMC meeting minutes on the 5th. We have the July 4th holiday. We have ADP and employment change and the average hourly earnings on Friday the 7th, but the market will be closed on the 4th of July. So again, keep in mind, that's 3 holidays in the span of 6 weeks. And again, that is a theta burn if you're doing same week expiries. So again, keep that in mind as well. All right, let's go and do some technical stuff here. We're going to go to the S&P 500 and give you guys some macro. What is going on? What are we expecting? I think this line is completely crooked. Let's see it. Yeah, this line is not the best. Let's go ahead and fix this line here. All right, so let's redraw our lines. I think this is a pretty good one here. Good level to have it. We're going to go and extend to the right. And you can see we're below this, knocking up support here on the 1 hour. So you're probably saying to yourself, oh boy, Carlos, we're in trouble. Exclude this gap here. This is from the contract rollover. So again, ES will kind of give us a little bit of a hint. I want to keep an eye on SPY. SPY, what are we looking for? Below 432, I would target 429.61 to 430. That's your next support, and if that comes down, and we definitely got a little more room to go. So I don't hate SPY here. Let's see for a little more of a pullback if that's the case. And really the target is the 20-day moving average, which is our momentum indicator. So if we break below 432.05, we'll get to 429.73 and get out as well. But again, if you're looking for a little more additional weakness, you're looking at 423.18. That is another gap to fill to the downside, and you got a couple down there. Let's go to SPX spot. See if it makes us a little more sense here. We'll go to the hourly chart. And again, pretty much a breakdown as expected. Filling gaps, got another gap here. That's a 1 hour gap. Not too concerned about it. But really you're looking around what 43.40 and then you go to 43.11. So if we are playing ES together, we can go ahead and see if we can short, I guess really to confirm, we can do a wick. We can do it by the wick. Let's see. To confirm, I'm going to say 43.75. It should be 43.80. But 43.75, a break below on ES, I think it's worth a shot to short all the way down to 4,300. We'll see if we can, 43.09 to that 38.2 fib and see if we can catch that as a futures trade. Let's go to NQ. This is NASDAQ futures. And again, guys, we know the drill. Why are we looking to the short side, at least in terms of SPY? Let's see if I can go ahead and bring up desktop. I wanted to show you this, guys. This is the seasonality chart. Again, I talk about this in the morning. End of June is rather weak. You can see it. End of June seasonality is rather weak, and then kind of get a little bit of a push into July. Pushes into the mid-July, and then we kind of go sideways towards the tail end. It kind of fits the script if we were going to have a more hawkish than expected FOMC mid-month, and then throw in some earnings that we're going to get, starting with the banks on the 15th or 16th with FJPM. So seasonality, keep that in mind. Again, end of July tends to be weak. Doesn't have to be, tends to be, but we're really at an inflection point. Look at NQ. Below 14,950. We've been holding that 15,000. If that breaks below, definitely want to short down to around 14,695. Every pullback is an opportunity. That's what we've been trying to do. So in terms of the market, I think we're just at an inflection point of whether we can get additional weakness or we're just going to have the bulls run the show and just keep bouncing us forever. Either one is plausible. Would just like to see a full week, honestly. Here's the thing. Next week is full week, right? No holiday. Then the week after that, July 4th, is off day. Not complaining about an off day, but still, you got, within 6 weeks, you had 3 holidays taking away from trading. Again, that affects trading if you're doing the same week, even if you're doing next week, just like we did with 19 Palantir. So, you know, be careful, take it a step at a time, trade at a time, and I think everyone's going to be fine. So, in terms of the overall week, I'm very proud of the work we did. You know, it's not easy to do all 3 asset classes, whether it's options, Forex, or futures. The idea is to be well-rounded, to know what you're doing, and find opportunities where they may present themselves. Sometimes, you know, Qs and SPY are just not the best way to go, but you can do the NQ and or ES shorts and see if you can catch those, or ES longs or NQ longs, or maybe you can trade commodities like we've done with oil and gold. Again, there is opportunities out there. Gold was actually the perfect exit on futures. And again, it was really below 1937. It was right here. And I updated everybody. You can see that triple bottom. That was it. That's all it took. We got it right here in 1921. Look how this bid up to 1948. I was moving stops and everything and pulled back. So take a look at this on the future side. Again, there's so many reversals. Again, you could see it as a pain in the ass, or you can see it as an opportunity. 1935 got out of 1921. We got as high as 1949. That would have been an L because we got in. Let's see if I can find 1935, 70. Yep. You can see the same yellow lines that I drew. 1935 in the breakdown. Now we're at 1930. ending the day or there anyways. Do we have enough juice for a continuation on gold? I think we pretty much did what we got to do on gold. If we break below 1900, then we can see what we do. But in terms of the weekly, I mean, 1900 just has to hold. You could see that kind of in a sense was kind of an inverse head and shoulders, but 1900 has to hold. If it doesn't, then we'll revisit. But I'm pretty much done with gold for the time being. In terms of crude oil, pretty difficult to trade. You can see just continuing to grind down. 61.74 really is your biggest support level. But if we break down below 67.31, we can see if we can scalp some down to 65. But it is a volatile one. Would like to see us above 74.41 so I can play longs to that 200-day of 78.17. But let's see what we get. It's really dependent on the dollar. That's really all it is. So, all right, guys, that is our week. I'm very proud of the week that we had. Team has done excellent, well-rounded all around. Back to square one. Back to Monday. Doing it again. See if we can profit every single day, day in, day out. That's really all we want to do. Just win. That's all we can do every day. Research, read, and be prepared, because I have noticed the harder you work, the luckier you get. And luck is only preparation meeting opportunity. So make sure you're prepared for Monday. We will see you for the morning note then. Thanks, you guys, for joining me this week. If you had a great trading week, please hit the like button. We really would appreciate that, as always, to see what you like. We always want to make sure that you're getting what you want. This channel is for you guys. And if you haven't joined us already, go ahead. Join us for the free plan. Join the free live market blog. Give us a shot. If you like what we do, we'd love to have you on board. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Cheers.